welcome to this week's episode of Lagnapod. I am your substitute host, Scott Johnson, and we've got the newsroom here. Y'all go around.
This is Grant McLaughlin.
Kyle Humbert.
Tommy Hicks.
Yeah, so we are missing Rob Holbert and Ashley Trice. They are
On assignment.
on assignment. Yeah, we've the inmates are running the asylum, as they say. And anyway, so it's just up to us to carry this on.
But we can do it, folks, because we wrote all the stories in the paper.
And
Yeah, that's right. They just read them.
So we know what's going on.
yeah, remember the $1 Million Man? We have the technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have the technology.
Yeah. So let's just jump right in. We got Grant McLaughlin did our cover story this week covering kind of what people are seeing out on the bay and seeing more of, or seeing through more clearly on. Grant, tell us about it.
There's a lot of people who don't know why the bay is so clear. Personally, I think the Crichton leprechaun jumped in the bay and magically made it clearer. That's my theory.
Sounds like a bad priest and leprechaun walked into the bar kind of joke set up. That's how that sounded.
I had it vetted by the one and only Madeline Dotson this morning, and she thought it was pretty funny. But no, so I had been contacted by some folks. Rob had been contacted by some folks, all just saying, the bay is a lot clearer than it used to be, and just kind of ran through a long list of sources, and what I inevitably got to was that there are a lot of answers that a lot of people don't seem to agree on. I thought it was going to be a fun story of people going, yeah, I'm going to get out on the bay, do some fishing, going to go kayaking. But most of the people I talk to are using the bay commercially or are, as we know, advocates. And so they don't do all that fun stuff.
Yeah, the gist is basically we have some contributing factors that seem to all have kind of happened all at once, or have stopped all at once.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, we've been in a gradually increasingly severe drought in southern Alabama.
Are we in drought?
Yes, we're in a moderate drought.
I didn't know.
And the state as a whole is in a drought, and the areas to the north of us, which directly contribute to the Mobile Tensaw River Delta, which feeds into the bay, are in extreme drought, which means basically it's dry as it could be. Some of those areas are going to have like forest fire notices, burn notices, burn bans, that sort of deal. So nothing's really flowing down. And that creates a lack of sediment runoff from construction projects, from your average amount of sediment runoff that would come down, which contributes to less murky water. It's also getting colder out. And when it gets colder out here, there's less wind. Sediment generally tends to fall harder and faster. And so it kind of just created a little bit of a perfect storm, if you will.
But it also coincides with
That's right.
Interesting, it's
exactly 1 month.
Coincidentally coincides with the ending of a pretty large dredging project, the deepening winding of the Mobile Bay.
That's right. And not just a few people made that connection in this story. Some of our sources were saying that it's a coincidence, but we should definitely study whether or not it had a more heavy impact on the clear water. And others kind of just pointed to it directly and were like, yeah, as soon as they stopped dredging, and they haven't been, as some people call it, mud dumping in the bay, the water has been clearer, and that can definitely have.
Now, is it the dredging or is it the dispersal in-bay dispersal that they argue? Okay.
They say it's both, because some of the people who we talk to, like commercial shrimpers, for example, they work near shipping channels, especially in the north part of the bay, and in the south part of the bay. So when you dredge, there's just automatically going to be some dirt that gets kicked up in the water. And so it's automatically a little clearer for them. Other people oyster farmers, for example, are in some areas of the bay are closer to where thin layer placement, the act of disposing dredge material inside the bay. They do that at specific sites. Some oyster farmers are close to those sites, and they say the water's been clear on their oysters.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty much the bag.
Now, for their part, the U.S. Corps is required when they do dredging and dispersal to have background monitoring. So that means they are testing the water before and during their activity. And, under regulations, they have to stop if they ever, what is it called? The cloudiness of the water?
The turbidity of the water, when it reaches a certain level, they have to stop, they have to document it, and they have to, in some measure, report it.
Yeah, they have to stop. And I don't think they've ever been cited for going over those background.
Yeah, we've never reported that they've ever had an incident. And I do believe you asked them a little while ago, and they said they never had an incident.
Yeah.
And they've been doing it since, I think, over 10 years now is when they got the permit.
Well, the in-bay disposal.
That's right.
Now, interesting thing about this as well is that the reason they have to dredge and have like a pretty high volume of dredging, I mean, they're constantly dredging. They're year-round maintenance dredging, not just to expand and deepen and widen the bay channel.
Just to keep it where it's at.
Just to keep and maintain it so it doesn't fill back in. So, interesting thing is that the reason they have to do that is because of the amount of sediment that does flow into the bay.
Yeah, and it's also just because the bay is not naturally that deep. So I mean, honestly, they didn't do a whole lot of on record talking to us, but it would have been funny to hear if they were glad that not as much sediment was running in, if that was impacting how much they have to dredge.
Yeah.
Which they'll be coming back in April to start doing. That's when their new dredging cycle begins.
They're not starting for another 5 months plus?
They have scheduled dredging maintenance all year round. It's different phases of it. Right now, they're working on the turning basin inside the shipping channel. And then they'll come back to do large, like the 50-foot channel maintenance dredging back in April. And that's when they'll restart thin layer placement as well.
Interesting stuff. All right. We also had some pretty, I guess, a big development. I mean, a lot of people are
watered down.
A lot of people are kind of critical that this proposal that has been in place for downtown Mobile is just never going to happen. Well, it happened. Kyle, fill us in on some of this vacant issue.
So yesterday, Tuesday, the city council passed an ordinance to create new maintenance standards and some penalties for vacant properties downtown. This was an ordinance that Sandy Stimpson put forward in September as one of his last acts of office. And the city council debated it and probed it and questioned it for weeks and delayed voting on it until yesterday when they finally took action weeks later. And the result that we have is a version that the plywood is still allowed to be on vacant buildings downtown. You can still board up your property. There's a 6-month window until it takes effect, and then after that, you have 6 more months to sign up onto this this registry of the city, which was an issue with the voting because Councilman Ben Reynolds from District 4 wanted a version of the ordinance where the city had to go out and say, this is a vacant property, you need to sign on to the registry. But the city wanted one where the owners of the buildings will voluntarily sign themselves up for this.
But the city can come in and do it as well if they.
The ordinance gives code enforcement the option to put a notice to these owners that they have to sign up. But Ben Reynolds compared this to running a stop sign and calling the police to tell them that you ran a stop sign. He's not optimistic that people will comply with this, and he was upset that his amendment was not put forward and that it failed. And
I mean,
Mayor Spiro had compared this to a tiger in previous days, and Ben Reynolds, speaking to reporters after, said, "This is not a tiger. This is more of a small critter. This is more of a possum." But it is something that is going to, I mean, there are high hopes that this ordinance will create safer buildings downtown, because you'll have to install a fire system, a security system, plumbing. You got to get some liability coverage for your buildings. The city's trying to avoid like another Hoffman Furniture Building fire.
Mhm.
So they,
but only if you voluntarily self-report yourself as a vacant structure.
yeah, or the city could come and put a notice on your door, and then if you don't comply, you can be
Okay.
taken.
So the notice begins a timeline of you having to sign up. Is that
Right?
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
So that's what
Interesting.
we got.
Interesting stuff. And looping really quick back into that, any idea of how many buildings right now would ostensibly qualify for that designation?
The fire department has estimated there are 140 properties downtown inside what they call the Henry Aaron Loop, which is basically just the city center of the 800 buildings downtown. They think that as many as 140 of them could be vacant. They have no way to prove that they're vacant, but they believe they could be.
Any public-owned property?
I have not looked into it, but
well, they're exempt, aren't they? The city's exempt from it.
I'm not sure if they are. I think that might be something to look for in the ordinance.
Interesting. All right. Well, we are going to be right back, and we're going to dive into some sports with Mr. Tommy Hicks. All right, and we're back, and joined by Tommy Hicks, our enterprising sports analyst and expert and reporter all at one time.
I didn't know there was that many things.
You got a lot of
And
hats.
a few others that we can't mention.
No, okay, yeah. We'll talk off the air.
Good. That'd be nice.
So week 3, high school football playoffs. Who do we got in? Who's been eliminated?
Well, we started out with 17 teams, and after the first week, we were trimmed down to 12 for last week. And after that, we are now holding at 5 teams, still in the running for a state championship. We have no 7A teams. In the first week of the playoffs is the first time ever that all 4 7A Region 1 teams won in the first round. And then the next week, all 4 got beat.
Wow!
So they're already eliminated. They were matched up against the Huntsville area in the first round, and then against the Central Alabama area, which is Central Phoenix City, Auburn, Thompson, Opelika, that area.
Who are our 7A teams? It's
the teams that made it were Baker, Mary G. Montgomery, Fairhope, and Daphne.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So no 7A teams left, but we do have Saraland left. They are undefeated and ranked number 2 in 6A. They will play at Pike Road this week. In 5A, we have 2 teams left. We have number 1 ranked Williamson, who is undefeated as well. They're playing at Montgomery Catholic, which has won the title the last 2 years. But they're 8-4 this year, and Williamson is 12-0 going into this one, and has only allowed 66 points in all of his games.
There's blood in the water.
So they're going to be favored.
Yeah,
Williamson's going to be favored.
Wow.
And Viger is still alive in 5A. They're ranked number 2 in the country. They will play at home against Central Clay County. Viger's 10-2. The only 2 losses they had were to 7A Baker and to Williamson. So those are not bad losses at all. Central Clay County is 11-1. And then in 4A, we've got St. Michael's still rolling around as the number 1 ranked team and undefeated at 12-0. They would play Bullock County at home.
That's crazy, man.
And then our last team available is in 3A. That's Bayside Academy. They are 11-1. They'll be at home against Montgomery Academy, which is also 11-1. So, going to be some interesting games.
Wow.
I think there's a really good chance that all 5 local teams win this week and move to the semifinals.
Wow.
If that happens, it would be Viger against Williamson in the semifinals to see who goes to the championship game.
Wow.
And then another one that everybody is kind of pulling for is that St. Michael wins and Jackson wins. And that St. Michael Jackson
A repeat
rematch is set. It'll be at St. Michael because they won the region, so they would get to host.
Wow.
They won at Jackson during the regular season, so a lot of big-time recruits will be playing in both of those semifinal games that I talked about.
For St. Michael to be competing with Jackson, that's a pretty huge step up for them, isn't it?
That program was 5-25 when Philip Rivers arrived, had no playoff experience, and had not won a region game in 18 tries.
Wow.
And now they are, like 30-18 under him, and they won the region this year. Their region wins have obviously gone way up. Their playoff experience has gone way up.
Like father, like son.
Yes, his dad was a successful high school coach, and now Philip's son is the number 1 rated recruit by 24/7 Sports for class of 2027 at quarterback. Gunnar Rivers. He's only thrown for 44 touchdowns.
Only. That's it?
This season.
Come on.
Just this season.
Wow.
This season. About 2,800 yards, 44 touchdowns.
Wow. Moving over to flag football, we have not been as fortunate to progress in those playoffs.
We have not. We had only one team that had made it to this week's round, the third round. That was Alma Bryant. And last night, which was Tuesday night, I know this is going to show up on Thursday, but on Tuesday night, they lost at Smith Station 19-18.
Oh.
Real close loss there. That would have put them in the semis, but it would have put them in the semis against Central High School Phoenix City, which has not lost a game in 55 starts.
Wow.
They're number 3 ranked nationally this year. They were number 1 ranked nationally last year. You got to figure their chances are pretty good of winning that game. They will. Smith Station gets the honor now of playing them, and their neighbors are located right next to each other. So
wow,
that'll be kind of interesting there.
When are we going to see flag football in the Olympics?
I think it's coming up in this Olympics.
Hopefully this next one.
I think it is on.
That'd be great.
Now the next Olympics are going to be at Ladd Stadium, right?
Well, it was going to be Ladd. They're moving it to Hancock Whitney.
Okay, all right. That's probably a good move. They have better concessions at Hancock Whitney.
Wow.
See how it just.
I think flag football probably do better than breakdancing did. I don't know if you remember all that. We had anyway,
and that's growing. It's just the third year that it's been a sanctioned sport. So I mean, there were some other schools in this area who jumped on and started fielding teams this year, and I think statewide it's going to become a bigger thing. You're even seeing players signing with colleges now. Colleges are starting flag football.
Good for them.
So offers another opportunity for female athletes to claim a scholarship and get free education. That's not a bad thing.
We got volleyball too. We got
volleyball
college
going on
volleyball
this week. The SIAC tournament will be hosted by Spring Hill College, which has not lost. They've won the conference championship 9 straight years, and I don't think they've lost a game for 6 or 7 of those in the league. They're number 1 seed. There'll be Thursday. We'll have 4 games. It's just single elimination. 4 games Thursday, 2 games Friday, championship game Saturday at 1 at the Arthur Outlaw Recreation Center on campus, which is not to be confused with the Arthur Outlaw Convention Center that's downtown.
Yeah, I would be easily confused by that.
Yep.
I'd show up at the convention center like, where's volleyball happening? Other local colleges playing in the tournament? It's
just Spring Hill.
Just Spring Hill.
Yeah, just Spring Hill. It's in the SIEC.
Great. And then we got the top 10 rankings that hit.
We got the college football playoff rankings updated Tuesday night.
Where are my dogs at? We have number 1.
Your dogs are not number 1. They're not number 2. They're not number 3.
I'm not
The
surprised.
dogs
But
are
they
in the
did move
pound.
one spot to number 4. So that means if it stays the same,
If
stays
it's
the same,
good.
they get a bye in the first round.
There we go.
So the way it would look if they played today, number 9 Notre Dame would be at number 8 Oklahoma in the first round. That winner would get number 1 Ohio State. Number 12 Tulane as the group of 5 the highest ranked group of 5 representative would be at number 5 Texas Tech. And that winner would play your dogs, Georgia, in the second round.
Wow.
Number 10, Alabama hung around, is still in it. They're number 10 ranked. They would play at Oregon, number 7 Oregon in the first round. That winner would have to play number 2 Indiana in the second round. And then number 11 Miami, just although it was number 13 ranked, it is the ACC's highest ranked team, and ACC that moves them up because all the conference champions, they call it 5 conference champions, the 5th being the group of 5 or 6,
Gotcha.
however you look at it now, being the 5th conference, so to speak.
Right.
And then so ACC, they jump from 13, they jump over BYU and Utah to that spot at number 11 ranked in the playoff bracket, and they would play at number 6 Ole Miss. That winner would play at Texas A&M, which is number 3.
Now, Tommy, do you believe that my Alabama Crimson Tide will make it to the championships in Kalen DeBoer's first season here?
Isn't it his second season?
It's an interesting question. They're going to win this week. We didn't even put their game or Auburn's game on the staff college picks this week because they're just walkover games. Alabama's playing Eastern Illinois at home. Auburn's playing Mercer. They're warm-up games for the Iron Bowl next week.
Mm-hmm.
The Iron Bowl is at Jordan Hare this year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
And
Jordan
it's at
Hare
night for the first time since 2014 and the first time at night at Jordan Hare
Wow.
since 2007.
Come on, Bama.
2007. Auburn always plays Alabama close at home. Alabama's got everything to lose as far as SEC championship game
I know.
possibility
I know.
and college football playoff possibility. Auburn can become bowl eligible by beating Alabama, granted beating Mercer this week. So this is the dynamic kind of leans toward all the pressure being on Alabama, playing at Auburn with the interim coach and nothing to lose, something to gain with a bowl eligibility. But how much would they love to put a stamp on Alabama's season that way? So
I'm sure that they'd like to do that.
How much would they like to take a picture out on the Alabama emblem in the center of the field?
Well, they're playing at home.
Yeah, the Auburn's playing at home.
Auburn's playing at home.
Oh! I thought they were playing at.
No.
Okay, sorry.
No. They're playing at home.
This changes everything. So,
Yeah, they always play Alabama.
Yeah.
Seemingly always play Alabama close at home.
Well, what did you go to Georgia or something?
He went to Georgia.
He went to Georgia.
I didn't go to Georgia.
His boys have to play Tech that week.
Yeah, no, that's
Every week.
see that's we could easily
That's a
lose that
different
game. Yeah, I mean their quarterback is stout. They got a great coach, which is unusual. I mean, up until last year, the Georgia Tech rivalry has been just flat out dead for 10, 15 years. So it's odd to see.
It's not dead this year.
No, it's not.
It's gonna be interesting.
But does Texas A&M have competitive games over the next 2 weeks? Could we see them get a loss? Or?
Yes, they play Texas.
Okay, well, there we go. I'm rooting for Texas because I'd like to see them not go
You should just root for Georgia.
12-0 or
Just stay
whatever.
the course and they'll be fine.
Yeah. I'll take everything I can get. All All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up there today.
All right.
And we appreciate all of the Lagnapod listeners. And we'll subscribe, lanyapmobile.com to see all the breaking news. And have a good day. Bye.
The Lagnapod is a Something Extra publishing production. Executive producers are Rob Holbrook and Ashley Trice. Music is by Sunpulse Sounds and Electro Animals. Only subscribers like you have access to this podcast. Tell your friends they can sign up at my.lanyapmobile.com. For advertising opportunities, please call 251-450-4466.